now it's just a matter of playing a bit more intense in the fourth quarter and don't allow that smothering defense by the Bulls to take over in the final period. It's the Bulls and the Sonics.
Tip, the officials, Ed T. Rush, Jess Kersey, and Hugh Hollins. Hollins not in favorite of the Chicago Bulls. Schrepp not able to hit on his first. And the stuff missed by Kemp, but they keep it alive.
Oh, much like game one started, a couple of offensive rebounds for Seattle as the Bulls standing flat-footed.
Kersey Hawkins. Open shot for Kemp. And the tip by Johnson.
Wow, I'm surprised, really. I thought the Bulls would just come out firing defensively with pressure on the ball. 3 possessions that time for the Sonics.
Harper draws the foul, so the Bulls going for the penetration on their first possession. Foul committed by Kemp.
Normally, it helps to make your first shot, but with the way the Sonics are just attacking the offensive boards and pushing the Bulls underneath, just way too easy of a first possession for Seattle as far as Chicago is concerned.
How about Irvin Johnson? 3 rebounds. First half minute. Did not have a rebound in game number 1.
That's called making adjustments. Coaching.
Trouble already for Seattle. Sean Kemp, who is foul prone and fouled out of game 1 with an early one.
But you can't let a guy like Harper turn the corner on that triangle offense pick.
Hawkins trying to save the pass. Here comes Pippen. Scottie Pippen. 1 count. He travels.
A good defensive play by Gary Payton, who's actually backpedaling, but I think it's just a little juke and a little fake. It's Scottie confused him and forced the turnover.
Harper trying to draw the foul. Again, the outside shot by Kemp. Sean Kemp, who had the sensational Game 7 last Sunday against Utah and followed it up 41 minutes, 32 points on 9 of 14 shooting here on Wednesday night. But committed 7 turnovers and fouled out. Longley rejected by Johnson.
Too many fakes by Longley that time.
Payton for 3. And Rodman able to get inside Kemp. Michael Jordan setting up against Detlef Schrempf. Uses the pick. And Harper able to keep it alive. Good look from Longley.
Longley is a very skilled player that, like Brikowski for Seattle, gets very little credit for what he can do with the ball.
Committed by Longley.
When you rise up for your jumper, as Longley will do here, out of the bottom of your eye, you never think pass. You always want to think shot at that moment. A good player can always dump it off at the last moment. And Luke Longley has developed into a solid basketball player.
Well, Luke is so happy to be rid of the Alonzo Mournings, the Patrick Ewings, and Shaquille O'Neals, and getting an opportunity now where there's going to be a lot of double teaming, and he is alert for it. He's going to make cuts to the basket when the double team occurs, and he's always going to be available for that spot-up shot.
Well, the Sonics had hit their last 18 free throws before the miss by Sean Kemp. It's the Sonics 5 and the Bulls 4.
That's a tough strategy to double Ron Harper in the corner.
Pippen got the step and was hammered. Foul committed by Johnson.
Well, the Sonics have been an aggressive, scrambling defensive team all league. Lots of gimmicks, lots of unusual things at the defensive end of the floor. We saw it in game 1 with the strange matchup. They're continuing a little bit with Gary Payton still guarding Scottie Pippen. I expect the Bulls to put Pippen in the post a lot more and try to exploit Payton inside.
Harper and Gary Payton getting into a little verbal exchange just behind the free throw shooter Pippen. There's the press.
How about Scottie Pippen? 10 of 11 at the line in the finals. He's been shooting 65% in the playoffs at the foul line. Bulls with a 6-5 lead. Hawkins. Hawkins on the penetration. Well, George Karl saying after game 1, he wanted to see his guards in particular taking it to the basket.
Well, Hawkins just 2 for 9 in game 1, not asserting himself, and he caught himself that way in the Utah series as well.
Yes, and it counts.
Sometimes Hersey Hawkins, who's such a good perimeter shooter and a three-point threat, relies on that perimeter game so much, and it will draw the defense out. And when you get that opportunity, you've got to attack the basket. Luke Longley continues to be aggressive at the offensive end, not feeling any pressure at all from Irvin Johnson.
Irvin Johnson is playing a very unimaginative defensive game.
What do you mean by that?
He's not anticipating that his player is going to make a move to the basket. He's guarding Longley as if Longley's just going to catch it, stand there, and pass out every time.
Here's Kemp. Several opportunities, and they continue to control the boards. What a sequence on the offensive glass by the Sonics.
Well, no question, Seattle has come out the aggressor on the glass, and maybe Irvin Johnson is saving himself at the defensive end, because he has been a tiger on the offensive end, if not getting rebounds, keeping the ball alive, because Kemp is always there.
In effect, he's being creative at the offensive end.
Saving himself, yes.
Exactly. 7 rebounds for Irvin Johnson.
That's a Dennis Rodman-like start, but Matt was mentioning the focus and intensity of Seattle. Nowhere more evident than on the face of Shawn Kemp.
It's the Sonics 9 and the Bulls 8. Now Schrempf guarding Hopper. The backdoor pass.
Oh, that's part of the triangle offense. It usually doesn't start that far out on the floor, but you hit the post, man on the wing, always cut to the hole.
Michael Jordan with a second field goal. Bulls by 1. Kemp blocked by Pippen. Open 3 for Jordan. Rodman with the rebound and pops it up.
Good run out defensively by Irvin Johnson on Jordan's 3 attempt. Seattle still looks tentative.
Here's the double team on Schrempf, and Payton fires. Hits the 3. Gary Payton, who played 47 minutes in game number 1, and probably will continue to log that kind of time, with Nate McMillan bothered by the back problem.
Gary Payton, he can play the whole game. George Karl told us beforehand he felt that Gary did get a little fatigued, as did Sam Perkins down the stretch, but Gary's got to compete for full 48 here.
Longley got himself trapped, and he's called for steps.
Poor recognition by Longley that time. He just had the little man Gary Payton on him on the defensive scrambling switch. No need to get fancy there. Just step through and slam.
So the Bulls with their second turnover. They committed just 1 in the first half the other night. Hawkins for 3. And a loose ball foul against the Sonics.
Already we've seen Seattle run 3 pick-and-roll plays with Gary Payton. They ran precious few in game 1, and that's a big play for Gary Payton, except that the spacing has to be a lot better.
And that was foul number 3 on Irvin Johnson right here, coming over the back of Dennis Rodman.
I'm sure George Karl does not really care about fouls with Irvin Johnson. He's not going to play that many minutes to begin with. He only played 9 the other night. George just wants to get the most out of him he can. Sam Perkins is going to play the heavy minutes.
7 rebounds for Johnson in just under 5 minutes in this first quarter. Jordan gets inside. And the game is tied at 12.
Jordan flashing from the weak side. And when Pippen is guarded by Payton, there's just no pressure on the pass because Payton is so short.
A wild shot by Payton, or perhaps he was trying to lay it off the glass for Kemp.
Well, Marv, when you come in there as a guard, coming to the basket, you just want to get it over the defender so your guy can come and slam it home from the weak side, as Kemp did.
Foul was called on Scottie Pippen. A timeout is taken with 6:43 to go in this first quarter.
You see the numbers, career scoring. He has improved each year he's been in the league. Keep in mind, he's still just a young man, only 26 years old. He came directly from high school to the NBA, something that has become more popular now in the recent years. But back in 1990, when Sean Kemp did it, it was a major surprise. Kemp, one of the most talented offensive forces in the NBA, but he can also do it with the rebounding, and you see the number. Seattle has out-rebounded Chicago 13-4. The Sonics did out-rebound the Bulls in game number 1, 41-40, the final total. In fact, that was only the second time the Bulls were out-rebounded since April the 5th. But Seattle was unable to make the rebounds count on the scoreboard. Once again, too many turnovers for the Supersonics, trying to limit that number here tonight. Sonics and Bulls tied at 12. Let's rejoin Marv Albert, Matt Kukas, and Bill Walton.
Well, for Scottie Pippen, there are ties to the Seattle franchise. He was actually the Sonics' first pick, 5th overall in the draft back in 1987, but never played for Seattle.
The Seattle Supersonics select Scott Pippen of Central Arkansas.
Well, I think as a young player and coming out of NAIA high school, I was very excited just to get drafted that highly.
Immediately traded. Is it Scott Pippen, I believe David Stern mentioned? Scottie Pippen to the Bulls for Olden Polynice and a 2nd-round draft pick. You recall the Sonics nearly got Scottie Pippen back in a deal involving Sean Kemp 2 years ago.
That was the deal that was on the table that Seattle pulled back. Remember, that was during the time that Jordan was not playing basketball. Chicago looking more to the future. I think both teams very happy that that trade was not made.
Actually, the trade that was not made changed the history, the recent history of the NBA. Michael Jordan said he might not have come back if Pippen were not a member of the Bulls. And here is Pippen with a nice three and just defeat the 24.
Well, the Bulls coming out of that timeout with trying to go inside to Scottie Pippen against Payton, which is something we anticipated a lot more of, to make him work down low, if not necessarily to get the post play, but to get some offensive rebounds as well.
So the Bulls by 1, just under 6 minutes remaining first quarter. Crowd wanted to travel on Payton. Hawkins for Schrempf, and he just did beat the 24-second buzzer.
Seattle's pump faking too much. Go right at him. These defenders are waiting for them. They're not getting in the air at all. Seattle hasn't established enough of a game where a pump fake means anything.
Hawkins rejected by Kemp.
Scottie Pippen saying, so you're the defensive player of the year. I just faced you up. I should have won that award.
Yes, Scottie certainly enjoyed doing it against the man they call the Glove. 5.5 remaining in this opening quarter. Down to 7 on the shot clock, and the Glove just did pick one off.
Good poke away by Perkins as well.
Schrempf. Well, Detlef Schrempf missed his first 4, similar to the scenario in game 1. Got off to the slow start, and that was his first field goal. Sonics lead by 1.
Good thing for Seattle is how many shot attempts they're getting, as Jordan is feeling it perfectly early on. But Seattle has taken twice as many shots as Chicago has. That's something they don't normally do.
About 10 offensive rebounds, but Bill, they've only turned it into 4 points, so it really doesn't matter how many you get, other than it shows you're aggressive, but you got to capitalize.
Here's Schrempf. Kemp. Oh, what a move by Sean Kemp. So Kemp with 8 points.
In years past, Sean Kemp would have made that play into something so much more difficult. He would have tried to double clutch and scoop, flip shot. Who knows how you can describe it. Now just playing so disciplined, so under control.
Jordan. Oh, the fadeaway on target, and Michael is 5 of 7. He has 10 points. Bulls lead by 1.
Talking to Ahmad before the game after his conversation with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan lights up when he sees Hersey Hawkins as a defender.
Jordan for Rodman with Payton back, gets it back to Pippen. Well, that would have been nice.
Not enough Bulls running the floor.
Hawkins for 3. And back comes Jordan. Pippen putting the move on Hawkins. And hitting. Bulls lead 20-17.
Well, this is Chicago Bull basketball. Any kind of steal, any kind of missed shot, they want to get out and run. But so far, they look very tired to me. Very heavy leg.
But, man, it's also Seattle Sonic basketball. The question is it enough? These teams are so similar. It often seems, though, like Seattle just comes up a little bit short, almost as if they're Bulls light.
Very nice, Bill.
Now Scottie Pippen getting out and running, sensing the fast break, making sure he gets down the floor quickly and able to get the throw-ahead pass and finish.
The problem seems to be whatever Seattle does, Chicago has an answer for it. Seattle has played well thus far. Detlef Schrempf, though, has been held to 2 points on 1 of 6 shooting. They've out-rebounded the Bulls 15-8. Chicago leads it 20-19.
Chicago's offense not very crisp, but it's always nice to have this man to bail you out. No pressure on the pass from Pippen. Double team, just too slow to get there as Michael turns away from it for that jump shot. And now just taking Hersey Hawkins down to the baseline. Payton coming way too light as Michael rises in the air.
But the good thing for Seattle is the type of shots Jordan's getting. In game 1 against Detlef Schrempf, he was just driving right through. Hersey Hawkins forced him to the fadeaway. Hannah Storm's got a report from the Sonic bench.
George Karl asking Gary Payton if he wanted to switch off defense.
First quarter, and the Bulls lead by 1.
Well, we talked about Payton having to have a huge offensive night. He's only 1 for 3 tonight to start the game. Not a good sign for Seattle.
And a foul called by Ed Rush. Foul committed by Kemp, and that is his second.
Scottie and Michael anticipating a little denial overplay by Gary Payton, trying to set up a backdoor cut to the basket. Terrific help on the part of Shawn Kemp. The body was there, but the reach in, and he just cannot afford to pick up those kind of fouls. He had his body there, he just had to keep his arms tighter.
So much of defense is anticipation. We saw Irvin Johnson in the early going just standing there flat-footed. That time, Shawn Kemp did not even make a play for the ball, did not visualize in advance what could possibly happen. Now he's on the bench watching, dreaming about it.
And the Bulls now lead 22-19. Tony Kukoc on the floor, applying some pressure on David Wingate, who just checked in. Wingate with 2 minutes of playing time the other night, and picked up 2 quick fouls in trying to guard Michael Jordan. Illegal defense called for the first time.
And with Shawn Kemp on the bench right now, Sam Perkins will become the primary post player right now. Of course, Sam is very effective on the perimeter with that 3-point threat, but they have to put somebody inside to make the defense react.
Man, I think they can post up Detlef Schrempf, who was an awesome post-up player in the Houston series.
Offensive foul. It's on Payton. That is his first call.
Well, the other post-up option they have is that man, Gary Payton, going to take Michael Jordan inside, and not really happy with a play late in game 1 as they got tangled up, got a double technical foul. I ran into Gary Payton on the elevator yesterday saying, I am not going to take any more of that from Michael Jordan.
And it's amazing how much information Matt can pick up on those elevators. Payton with the steal and puts it down. and then apparently had something to say to Jordan.
Not a good idea.
Whispering sweet nothings into the ear of Michael Jordan. 1 point, Chicago lead. Offensive foul on Pippen.
Well, Gary Payton was told by his coach, George Karl, late in game 1 and yesterday as well, I want you to get a little crazy out there. I want you to be yourself. I want to see some arrogance. I want to see the Gary Payton that helped lead us to 64 wins. And there's a little bit of it right there, and you have to be very careful with that. Not only because the officials will nail you with the tee, but you do not want to fire up Michael Jordan in this building or any building for that matter.
Judd Bushler has come on for the Bulls. Bill Weddington now defending against Sam Perkins. Nice move by Perkins. And that is his first field goal. So the Sonics have taken a 23-22 lead. Just under 2 minutes remaining in this first quarter.
This is Sonic basketball. This is posting up Perkins. This is getting out in transition off the steals. Sam Perkins can swing that left-handed hook from the low box. Realizes he's got Weddington, who's a position defender, not an athletic one, not a leaper. Get that whenever he wants. Nobody goes up top to block for Chicago.
3-second violation against the Bulls, giving the ball back to the Sonics. Perkins again working on Weddington. And again hits with the running hook.
And since Sean Kemp went to the bench with 2 personal fouls, Seattle outscoring the Bulls 6-zip.
Rodman might want to switch over onto Perkins instead of Weddington.
And Jordan off the fake, run into by Wingate. Sonics are over the foul limit.
Milk whatever's working. Seattle coming right back to Sam Perkins in a mirror image of what we saw the time before. Run that play until they stop it.
It's been a long time between field goal attempts for the Chicago Bulls. They are 8 of 14 from the field, as opposed to Seattle. They've attempted 27 shots, 10 of 27. And Jordan and Pippen have combined to take 10 of the Bulls' 14 shots.
Marv, I think the layoff did hurt Jordan, did hurt Pippen. I don't really believe they'll get into full swing until game 3 Sunday night. Little bit of stiffness. Yesterday, Michael Jordan telling us that for the first time in his life, he's having to ice. He's starting to feel stiff when he gets out of bed in the morning and limping to get going. Nice to see that he is human.
Yes, he said he did not quite have the feel in game number 1. Perkins, and a foul is called. Team foul number 4 on Chicago. It is on Bushler. George Karl was saying, though, he felt that the 7 minutes that Jordan sat out in the second half the other night, he felt the Sonics defense was great on Michael.
Well,
he wanted to make sure that point got
now, if he can just get Michael Jordan on the bench for 48 minutes, then everything would be fine.
Sonics by 2. And we're down to 45 seconds to go in the first quarter. Schrempf posting on Rodman. Shot clock at 5. Oh, nice move on a fadeaway by Detlef Schrempf.
After a good defensive play by Tony Kukoc, who came down to help and actually batted the ball right back to Schrempf, giving an assist. Kukoc.
Rodman.
Well, Dennis Rodman able to keep it alive. Last touch by Seattle. And here comes Frank Rukowski, not a favorite here in Chicago, off the flagrant foul and the consecutive technicals as he got involved with Dennis Rodman and then Jack Haley in game 1. 8-1 run by the Sonics. The Bulls are holding for a final shot of this first quarter. Illegal defense. The call against Seattle, the team that led the NBA in that department.
What's interesting there is Sam Perkins coming out to double team Michael Jordan to get the ball out of his hands. Michael just so smart, just didn't give up the ball right away, tried to explore.
And when there's an illegal defense call in the final 24 seconds of the quarter. It means an automatic technical foul awarded. So Jordan to the line. And Michael is now 1 of 3 at the line.
Marv, I was talking with Rodman about this whole thing with Burkowski, and he was saying that the Bulls really won 2 games on Wednesday night. They won the basketball game and they won the head game as well.
Funny thing, Burkowski and Haley say that they're very friendly off the court. They're going at each other as Burkowski was leaving, but they spent a lot of time in the offseason. Here's Kerr, who just checked in. Time running down. Jordan checked the clock, and that is too late. So after one, a solid first quarter for the Seattle Sonics as they lead the Chicago Bulls 27-23. Sean Kemp with 10, but he has 2 fouls.
3-minute stretch at the end of the first quarter for Seattle, outscoring the Bulls 8-1, while Sean Kemp was sitting on the bench with 2 personals.
All right, Harper and Kerr in the backcourt. Kukoc, Bushler, and Sally up front. Illegal defense again against the Sonics, so another technical foul awarded.
David Wingate at the top watching Steve Kerr, who is not off to the best start in this series. Steve had his problems in game 1, missing all 5 of his shot attempts. We'll try to get on the board here, but David Wingate has to stay very close to Steve Kerr because they don't want to give him open looks from 3.
Many of the starters giving the business to some of the guys coming off the bench like Kerr and Bushler, who were not able to hit and who have done such a good job during the regular season and the playoffs. Bushler said he was too pumped up.
As did Kerr tell me the same thing. Jordan's asked him, how many times I got to win this game? Will you guys please make a shot?
Here is Kukoc. And back come the Sonics. Payton on the open floor, putting the move on Kerr. Oh, Gary Payton with a very impressive start. He now has 7 points, and the Sonics lead by 5.
The good thing for the Sonics is that they're not making wild turnovers that are leading to open court play for Chicago. They're making Chicago play the half-court game.
And the foul called by Ed Rush. Poke in the eye. Gary Payton making contact with Steve Kerr.
Well, Seattle is winning the hustle game so far. They're the more aggressive team on the offensive glass. They're forcing more turnovers and very aggressive, and you would say overly aggressive defense there as Payton did spot Kerr.
Nice backdoor pass, but Kukoc stepped out of bounds. Substitutions for the Sonics. George Karl doing some shuffling here. He has Vincent Askew back along with Hersey Hawkins and the rookie from Michigan State, Eric Snow, who played only 1 minute the other night, handling the ball now against Steve Kerr. Snow will see additional time, one with the injury suffered by Nate McMillan.
14, 22.
And a double foul has been called. It is on Sally and Perkins. And there is Nate McMillan, who has a nerve impingement in his back that has led to shooting pains down the left leg. And he said doctors told him it will not improve until the offseason when he can rest it. A rare Seattle turnover. Harper from deep. Yes. Sonics by 3.
We saw Seattle's inability to feed the post properly in game 1. That time, turnover leading to fast break points for Chicago.
Perkins trying to shake off Sally. A couple of veterans going at each other, and a hold is called on Sally.
Well, Ron Harper has been a key player for the Chicago Bulls all season long because he has found his niche as a defensive catalyst, playing the toughest guard in the backcourt. In the early season, it was Jordan playing point guards. Now it's been Ron Harper, and his offense has picked up in the playoffs.
Here's a double on Perkins. Askew lost it.
They'll double off Askew. He's not as great a three-point shooter as some people think out in the Western Conference.
Harper putting moves on Snow.
Good box out Burkowski.
with the head fake. Crowd wanted to travel. Hawkins with a beautiful move.
You can see the mindset of Hersey Hawkins. Not going to just stay out and work that three-point line. Going to attack the rim every chance he gets.
Hersey, a native of Chicago, telling us his Bushler is able to hit after going 0 for 4 the other night, and the Sonics now lead 31-28. Hersey telling us not that pleasant playing back in his hometown. The ticket pressure has gotten to him. Illegal defense, this time against the Bulls. And a timeout is called with 9:18 to go in this first half. Sonics with a 31-28 lead. And the question is, will they shoot the technical before we take the commercial break? Yes, they will. Hersey Hawkins beckoned back to the line off that illegal defensive call.
Well, George Karl, I'm sure, does not find himself in this position very often during the course of the year with both Sean Kemp and Gary Payton on the bench. It's imperative that he gets that offense from Hersey Hawkins and Sam Perkins. We also have to worry about floor generalship with the rookie Eric Snow.
Well, Hersey Hawkins, one of the best free throw shooters in the NBA, missing the technical. We'll be back in a moment. To 14 for Seattle, and they scored 17 second chance points, while Seattle with only 7, a major factor leading to the Chicago victory in game 1. But tonight the Sonics have turned it, and they have done it in this department. This is the story tonight off the offensive glass to see Sean Kemp converting a 7-2 advantage for Seattle. That left Schremp being played by Dennis Rodman. Schremp, Burkowski, Askew, Hawkins, and Snow on the floor for George Karl. Here is Snow, rejected easily by Longley. Eric Snow did not see much action during the regular season. Appeared in just 43 games, started once, only 300 minutes. Hopper will go to the line.
Chicago's getting unlimited backdoor opportunities from their triangle offense. This is their 3rd time in the early goings of this game. Rodman flashing to the ball as Longley did earlier, and guys just moving from the weak side on the entry pass to the post player. Brilliant play, Dennis Rodman.
5 points for Harper, now 3 of 3 on the line. Gary Payton making his return. Phil Jackson had been resting Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. They have stepped back onto the floor.
Well, a number of times in game 1 we saw the pressure after the free throw, full court pressure, and really Seattle was not in an attacking mode, just happy to get the ball across half court, playing right into the hands of the Chicago Bulls.
I think you turn a press into a fast break situation, get 3-on-2s to the hoop at will.
Illegal defense once again against Chicago. Well, similar to what we saw in game 1 on Wednesday night here at the United Center, a host of whistles. Although not in the case of illegal defenses, they have been calling them tonight. And Hersey Hawkins, who missed the technical a moment ago, once again fails to convert. Sonics 31 and the Bulls 30. Game 2 of the NBA Finals Series. Game 3 in Seattle Sunday night, 7:30 Eastern Time. Showtime, hosted by Bob Costas at 7, which is 4 out on the West Coast. And a reach-in is called on Ron Harper.
Well, one of the rare times in this series so far when the Sonics have been able to run their favorite pick-and-roll play very deep on that left wing and getting the switch and drawing the foul.
Payton. Rodman able to haul down his 4th rebound.
Dennis Schremp scored in the one post-up opportunity he had. They never came back to him. That's a mistake.
But could not hit.
I've been watching these games, and he's pretty good.
Bill picking things up real quickly. I think think you've been spending too much time in the West. Seattle with the edge on the boards. Sonics with a 1-point lead. Open shot for Harper. A 3 for Ron Harper. And the Bulls have taken the lead.
Well, Michael Jordan so smart, getting the double team, giving the ball up right away, getting ready for another pass inside, but nobody went out and challenged Ron Harper.
Hawkins guarded by Jordan. Burkowski. Payton inside. Pops it out to Askew. Got it carried out of bounds, so the Bulls will get it back.
When Harper spots up, they've got to come down because Jordan is such a devastating post player, and Harper's just got that perfect rhythm. He wants some crowd response.
Well, he has received the response. The Bulls in the midst of a 7-0 run. In the second quarter. And Hugh Hollins makes the call on Vincent Askew. For the Sonics, their third team foul. Bulls with 2.
Now Vincent Askew, a very physical defensive player. He's got a wide body, strong, and he's quick with his feet, but he's going to try to pop Michael Jordan every time he comes and try to keep him from cutting to that spot right there.
They double up on Jordan.
Scotty's holding the ball when it comes to him in the open spot created by others' offense.
And again, an open shot for Harper. Rodman able to get to it. Last touch by Kennedy.
The Bulls just can't seem to get into any kind of rhythm offensively with their triangle. The few times that Jordan's been able to post and turn quickly and shoot has been about it.
Jordan. And the foul against Rodman. Mentioned the Bulls not able to get into any kind of rhythm. The Sonics defensively somewhat responsible for that, doing a nice job.
They have it. We just saw Dennis Rodman get away with one of those pushes that George Karl has been so talkative about the last couple of days. He feels that Rodman gets away with 3 seconds with shoving, pushing, and flopping.
Yes, he said that, Kemp looked like he got a poke from Longley. And then turned it over. George Karl was upset with what he called 4 flops by Dennis Rodman in game 1. He felt one was wrongly called the flagrant foul on Frank Burkowski.
But Marvin, Scottie Pippen works the low post in there. That's Dennis Rodman's game, is to make the other team focus in on him and take it away from Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, the guys who are going to light it up offensively. Gary Payton picks up his 3rd foul. Not the kind of game that Seattle needs from Gary Payton to win in this building.
Percy Hawkins candidly had an interesting appraisal of his teammate Frank Burkowski. He said that he's very good at bringing out the worst in people. Scottie Pippen with 10 points, and the Bulls now lead by 4. He said that with affection, that he can antagonize, and obviously that could be a plus for a team. Again, illegal defense called on the Bulls. That is the 4th illegal on Chicago.
Scottie Pippen getting to the lane. Poor closeout by Sean Kemp. Michael Jordan was just torching him with his right hand. You got to force guys to their offense. And as far as the Burkowski comment by Hersey Hawkins, Mark, This team, they love Frank Burkowski, and his personality adds so much to the overall team chemistry. He keeps everybody loose. He's a very intelligent, very witty guy, outgoing, sort of keeps everybody loose in a situation that often gets very edgy with the volatile personalities on this Sonic team.
And he can play, as we saw during the regular season. Percy said that he even got David Robinson annoyed to the point where he was ready to go at it.
That's where George Karl thinks this whole situation has developed with Burkowski, where the referees are all over his case every single time.
Nice move by Hawkins, and the Bulls now lead 35-34. Harper is hammered by Perkins. And Harper will go to the line. Sam Perkins with a hard hit for his second foul.
Well, playoff foul so important, and you have to be very careful now with the broad description of what is a flagrant foul, and it is very broad for the officials. Unnecessary contact, and a flagrant 2 would be excessive unnecessary contact. So the officials are covered there. That's just a hard playoff foul. Wise not to call a flagrant foul. As far as Dennis Rodman drawing the attention of other coaches and other players, he does that all the time. I think what George Karl was trying to do was heighten the awareness to the officials, to keep an eye on him, to try to call those 3 seconds, to try to call those flops, and to try to save people like Sean Kemp from committing those fouls.
Well, some pressure by Chicago did not work. Hawkins was able to get down court, but blew the layup. Jordan facing the double team, looking for Rodman.
I think Seattle should ignore Dennis Rodman except for what he does on the basketball court, which he's not been a whole lot tonight.
0 for 1 from the field and 6 rebounds for Rodman. Bulls lead by 3. We're just under 5 minutes to go. First half. Hawkins with the room. Well, Hersey Hawkins showing some signs. That was a 3-pointer. He has 10, and the game is tied at 37.
It's Seattle style. They're penetrating and dishing for wide open threes.
Basket won't count. Foul before the shot attempt. But the Sonics over the limit, so Jordan will shoot a pair.
Well, Michael Jordan knows that he can get this ball anytime he wants, and he knows where that double team is coming from. So he makes that hard, quick spin move to the baseline to avoid that double team. And Hersey Hawkins just not strong enough nor quick enough to keep Michael from turning baseline.
So the Bulls by 1. As I look at Phil Jackson at the Chicago bench, I'm wondering, what does the John Calipari contract with the New Jersey Nets, a reported 5-year, $15 million due to Phil Jackson's negotiating with the Bulls?
I think it has to strengthen his position. I was in Phil's office with him before the game tonight, and obviously everyone's ecstatic that John Calipari got this great deal, but what does that do to Phil Jackson and Larry Brown and all these other proven coaches in the NBA to their salary structures?
Well, Kemp will go to the line. Well, Calipari is in Pat Riley territory in terms of salary.
Except for a piece of the team, which certainly changes that
yes.
dramatically, but still.
And also the per diem, I should point out. Although I'm not sure what John did get in that department.
Hard to think of a better coach in basketball today than Phil Jackson.
I'll tell you what, he was not happy with that last 3-point shot a couple of possessions ago by Hersey Hawkins. That's the one thing he wants to keep Seattle from doing, because he knows that's the one thing that can beat them, especially in this building.
And the leg block, kickball, providing a new 24 for the Bulls. Steve Kerr back on the floor. It's Kerr and Jordan in the backcourt. Longley, Rodman, and Pippen up front. 4 minutes to go in this first half, and the game is tied at 39. Scottie Pippen. 12 for Pippen, and the Bulls lead by 2.
Well, we see it on both ends. How many good things happen when you penetrate, get into the lane, draw the defense, and find the open man.
Last touched by Jordan, able to break it up.
Michael Jordan gets isolated here with Detlef Schrempf. The double team comes, but it's ineffective, and they're still able to get whatever they want. You got to keep them inside that double team.
Kemp digging hard. In Longley in a collision. Longley is hurt. Kerr shooting. Rodman tipping it to Pippen. Jess Kersey waves it off, calls a 3-second violation. And Luke Longley shaken up, looking over at the Bulls bench.
Well, that's the call that George Karl was hoping he would get, and that was an easy one because Dennis Rodman was camped in that lane, and then a very hard behind the back, not really a bet, it was a flip at Eddie Rush, who put that whistle in his mouth, thought about calling the technical.
But Luke Longley went over to Phil Jackson and said, I got to come out, coach, I'm beat up. And Phil Jackson pushed him back out there and said, get back down there and play some defense. Longley's going to get hammered by the elbow. Unintentional, of course, just a continuation play, but there's certainly blood on Luke Longley at this point.
And the blood leading to the stoppage in play. Bulls trainer Chip Schaefer taking a look. Luke took a pretty good shot in that left eye, but Phil indicating play through it. Short Kemp. Oh! He posterized Scottie Pippen.
He is the quickest dunker and the most explosive dunker in that situation.
The game is tied at 41. As Kemp started to accelerate, offensive foul on Jordan. You can see Pippen wanted no part, understandably, looking to get out of the area. And a timeout call now by Chicago. 11 turnovers now for the Bulls. Here's the move by Kemp, serving up a facial, which is enjoyed by the Sonic bench. 2:55 remaining first half, and the game is tied at 41. 72 LA Lakers, considered one of the great teams in the history of the NBA. In fact, the Chicago Bulls broke the single season record for wins, which West's Laker team set. Of course, Jerry, one of basketball's all-time greats. We'll hear from Jerry West at halftime. Bob Costas and Julius Erving on the Prudential halftime report. Charles Barkley may be a tough act to follow for Jerry. He was just wild on Wednesday night.
Well, so many issues for Jerry West to address today. Of course, Magic Johnson, free agency coming up for so many players.
3-second violation. And the Bulls get it back. 2:37 remaining first half. The game is tied at 41.
And George Karl gambling right now and leaving Gary Payton on the floor with 3 personals. 2.5 minutes to go in this first half. I saw him talking to Gary coming out of that last time, making sure that he was aware and to be careful.
He's been off the mark after the excellent game on Wednesday. Schrempf set the pick. Payton to the fadeaway. Again, Hopper open. Swinging in. Bulls want a goaltend. Won't get it. Blocked shot is the call.
And I'll tell you why. That shot was way short. Crowd doesn't like it. Even though this thing is on the way down, it is short of the rim. Good not call by the referees.
You got to give it a chance to hit the rim, though. This ball might have scraped the bottom of the rim. Kukoc is killing Seattle with his up and under move.
But hasn't been able to convert. He's 0 for 4. And a technical was just called on Jimmy Rogers, an assistant coach with the Chicago Bulls. Jimmy complaining about the lack of the call. Felt it should have been a goaltend. Jimmy Rogers, one-time head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Boston Celtics. And Percy Hawkins, after missing his first 2 technical foul attempts, has hit his last 2. And the crowd reacted to the last, what they felt was a non-call. Bulls have missed their last 6 shots. Shot clock at 3.
Jordan lighting up every time he sees Detlef Schrempf anywhere near him.
Michael now 5 of 10 from the field. Leads the Bulls with 13. Hawkins, pretty give and go between Kemp and Hawkins. Nice exchange, and the Sonics lead by 3.
What a difference from game 1 for Seattle when it was all individual play. Now everybody involved.
Kerr, yes. Steve Kerr creating by himself with a quick release, and it cuts it to a 1-point Seattle lead. Perkins fouled, hit hard by Sally. And the Sonics are looking for a flagrant.
Well, Steve Kerr, who has been struggling to get an open look and get any kind of shot, I guess he just needed a bigger body on him as Sean Kemp came out to challenge that shot, as he has been very aggressive and playing terrific basketball all over the floor. I'm a little surprised that Phil Jackson has not come with a player to attack Gary Payton. There's another hard playoff foul by John Sally. On a hammer Sam Perkins going to the basket. But right now Gary Payton is able to defend Steve Kerr, who is not going to take the ball to the basket and draw fouls, and consequently Payton's been able to just kind of roam around, freelance defensively, look to help out, just making sure he doesn't commit a foul. Chicago should try to isolate him, drive him, and try to pick up that 4th foul.
Sam Perkins, who will celebrate his 35th birthday in a week and a half, acquired by Seattle from the Lakers back in February of '93 in the deal for Benoit Benjamin and the rights to Doug Christie. Sonics by 2 with just under 1 minute to go in the first half.
Chicago can play 2 for 1. Maybe post up for Kukoc. Jumping to pass.
And Jordan for 3. That was an offensive sequence that was not going anywhere, and Michael able to bail them out.
But more of the interchangeable pieces for Chicago. Makes them turn broken plays, allows them to get into something really good. And when you have Jordan who can make everything, that makes up for a lot of sins.
Bulls by 1. Perkins for 3. So it will be Chicago ball. 23 seconds remaining in the half.
When Kukoc steps into that post area, everybody has to react, take 1 step closer to him, and that just leaves Jordan. Seattle's done a good job of keeping Jordan out of the basket area. Jordan's not beating people off the dribble the way he did in game 1.
Well, George Karl not gambling anymore. He had gotten Payton out of there with a minute to go, now making sure Kemp doesn't get his 3rd, as the Bulls like to spread the floor in this situation, normally with Kukoc.
Down to 10 seconds in the half. Kukoc beating Perkins, finding Kerr. Final seconds. Kerr forced it up. And that is the end of the first half. Michael Jordan with 16 points. Scottie Pippen with 12. Sean Kemp leading the way for the Sonics with 14, and Hersey Hawkins with 13. It's the Bulls 46 and the Sonics 45. Back in a moment with Bob Costas and the Prudential halftime report. But first, let's pause for these messages.
Sonics, George Karl, it has been a long road for him to get to this point. A lot of pressure on this veteran coach entering the regular season. It's time for second half action. The Bulls lead at 46-45.
As this 3rd quarter gets underway. Luke Longley with a nice dish from Michael Jordan. We saw Luke Longley head back to the bench late in the 2nd quarter, and we're told he required 5 stitches to close a cut over his left eye. So the Bulls now lead by 3. There's Sean Kemp with a series of moves rejected by Longley. Schrepp for three. Yes. And he's tied the game at 48.
Detlef bails Kemp out with a three. And Kemp's got to learn never execute the shot that you just faked.
Hopper for three. And Longley, nice tip. Beautiful touch by Dennis Rodman. And that's his first field goal. So the Bulls now lead by 2, and a holding foul called on Jordan.
Well, Chicago with only 6 offensive rebounds in that first half, 2 of them by Dennis Rodman, well below their norm. But if you don't get a body on Dennis Rodman, he'll do that to you all night long. You must check him early.
What was Shawn Kemp doing there? I mean, that's Dennis Rodman's game, offensive board. He was standing there watching.
And Detlef Schrempf doing it over Luke Longley, and the game is tied at 50.
I really think taking Schrempf off of Jordan has freed up his mind to concentrate on offense.
Jordan over Hawkins. So the matchup for the moment is Hersey Hawkins defending against Michael Jordan. Kemp putting the moves on Luke Longley and draws the foul. That's 3 on Longley.
Well, Michael looks a lot lighter on his feet to start this third quarter, and his eyes are getting wider and wider right now. Just a quick, hard dribble up in the air. Jerry West used to do that. Though he's going to the other direction. And 2 hard dribbles up in the air and the jump shot.
Hawkins and Payton in the backcourt with Schrempf, Kemp, and Johnson on the front line. And Jordan all over Hawkins. Last touch by Hawkins. What a play defensively by Michael Jordan.
It gets the Chicago bench going, the players on the floor going, and the crowd going when your best offensive player works that hard at the defensive end.
And at the other end, Johnson is called for the foul, pushing Longley at the post.
It is so wonderful to see how hard Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, or is it Scott Pippen, work on the defensive end. They just are in their man's face. Oftentimes, the length of the court. Terrific inspiration to everyone.
George Karl not happy with this illegal defense. Scottie Pippen was perched way out on the left side above the tip of the circle. The man guarding him, Detlef Schrempf, started to come over and double team the little 2-man play, which he's perfectly allowed to do. And that's why the argument is going on there. Referee Hugh Hollins felt that Detlef Schrempf was doing something else.
And that's the 3rd illegal defense call against Seattle. Chicago's been caught 4 times. Michael Jordan off at the line. He's 3 for 6. Bulls with the ball up by 2 with 2 minutes gone by in the 3rd. Marv Albert, Matt Gukas, Bill Walton, Bob Rashad, Hannah Storm working the sidelines. Bob Costas on hand with Julius Irving. A staff of thousands here at the United Center. And the foul is called on Johnson. That is number 5, Irvin Johnson, not to be confused with Irvin Magic Johnson, has committed 5 fouls in 7 minutes. Jordan, and last touch by Longley.
Irvin Johnson is not a big minute type of player. I'm sure told by George Karl, just go out and play as hard as you can at both ends of the floor. Be as physical as you want to be. If you foul out in 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, so be it.
Here is Kemp. Quick release with Longley moving in his direction. Shawn Kemp, 16 points, and he's tied the game at 52.
Shawn Kemp realizing as he's matured this season that he's a finisher. He's not a playmaker yet at this point of his career.
Hawkins called for the reach-in. That is his second. Hersey Hawkins with a big second quarter. 11 of his 13 coming in the second.
And his defense on Jordan, even though Jordan has 20 points already and will end up with a ton more, they're forcing him to work for it. Where game 1, it was so easy.
Longley getting position. Rodman. Dennis Rodman with the offense. defensive putback.
Once again, Sean Kemp not putting enough body on Robin, and how Robin finds that little crack, that little seam, the strong hands to catch, and not so much to finish, because he normally doesn't finish in there, but he has been a much more offensive-minded player throughout the last 10-15 playoff games.
Michael Jordan claiming that he got the ball, that he did not foul Schrempf as he reached in on the ball fake and called for the foul.
Generally, they let the smaller player do a lot more than that. When the big 6'10 guy, Deleb is a full 6'10 trying to post up.
Gary Payton, nice change of pace on the dribble. So Payton with 9 points, and the game is tied at 54.
I still think Chicago should take an opportunity and take the ball to Gary Payton, make him defend or post him up and try to get that 4th foul. He is such an important player to Seattle.
Jordan fires it up. He knew he had the foul called, and he'll go to the line for 2. And that's 3 on Hawkins.
Chicago is just so smart collectively. They realize immediately what the mismatch is. When they put a big guy on Jordan, they step him to the perimeter. They put a small guy, Hawkins, they roll him into the post. That requires the other players to be very smart and have the multiple skills to be able to handle the ball on the perimeter.
Michael now 4 of 7 at the line. In game 1, he had 28 points, and that snapped a streak of 9 consecutive 30-plus scoring games in the finals for Michael Jordan. The record is 13 by Elgin Baylor, a record that appears to be safe for a while. Hawkins and Rocket with the box out.
Terrific outlet, Rodman.
Pippen. Yes.
Well, Dennis Rodman made that play happen. He just sprinted as hard as he could, middle of the floor, went right to the rim. Detlef Schrempf had to honor that, and that left Pippen open.
Oh, Kemp going baseline, firing it up. Rebound, Kemp. Rebound by Longley. And the Bulls on the run. Now they get back. Pippen for 3. Rodman with the save, but he stepped out. Apparently pushed out. So the foul call.
Rodman, like Kemp, able to make those multiple jumps, and then once the Bulls get out in transition, very few dribbles, terrific passing. Rodman up the floor to finish if need be.
And you see Schrempf with the light touch on Rodman, and that drew the foul call.
Can't get his hands on it, and Michael Jordan just gets right in Luke's face, and during the timeout continues to ride Luke Longley, as only a top player can do, who sets such a high standard of excellence. A coach in that situation would hurt a Luke Longley, where Michael Jordan can push and drive Longley, as he's done as to Ron Harper as well, to get them to be the best players they could possibly be.
8-0 run by Chicago, and they lead by 6. And here's pressure by the Bulls.
And this pressure designed primarily to do that. Get the ball out of the hands of Gary Payton.
Shot clock will be a factor now.
It is down to 10. Down to 5. Perkins. Shot clock at 2. Kemp fired from 3-point territory. Almost touched by the Bulls as Hopper and Perkins went flying. Apparently Hopper pointing at Hugh Hollins, thinking that Hugh called it the other way, and he did.
Wow, break for Chicago there, as it appeared that Ron Harper had knocked that ball out. Eddie Rush on top of the play and called it in Seattle Center. This is a key stretch for the Sonics. They're over the limit in the penalty. 7 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. The Bulls should be attacking the basket. They could live at the foul line.
Good play by Payton to break it up. And last touched by the Sonics. So the Bulls get the new 24.
Seattle desperately needs some offense. They've got to get settled down defensively, force Chicago into very difficult offensive scoring situations, and then get out in transition attack Chicago's pressing defense.
Jordan. And kept alive by Rodman. Oh, Pippen with a beautiful delivery leading to the foul. And the crowd wants a flagrant. It is a flagrant foul.
The Seattle big men, Perkins, Kemp, they're getting shoved underneath the basket. They're not taking care of their own defensive board. And Sam Perkins, that was called because of the combination of the earlier one in the first half that was not called a flagrant foul. The similarity, though, referees want to just discontinue that right now.
Oh, here are the Bulls getting to the free throw line now with the Sonics over the limit of the penalty. He would have gone either way because that was a shooting foul and to tack on a flagrant foul as well. But that's what offensive rebounding gives you. It not only gives you those second opportunities, as Dennis Rodman and George Karl discussing their talking from yesterday, and both of these fellas do respect one another. And George Karl told us yesterday, he said, I'd love to have this guy on my team. I tried to trade for him.
Bulls now with 9 unanswered points. Jordan. Rebounded by Kemp. Protecting against Rodman.
But Dennis Rodman continues to play the mind game with George Karl. George Karl's getting sucked in.
Payton for three. Loose ball foul against Chicago. You recall in game 1 here on Wednesday night, it was a 2-point game going to the fourth quarter, and then the Bulls' defensive effort picked up even more so. We're seeing some signs of that here in the third quarter as the Bulls have been able to take command. They're now up by 7.
Tony Kukoc, the hero of game 1 with 18 points, 12 of them in the fourth quarter. Scoreless in the first half, has to give the Bulls something.
And Kukoc back on the floor. Coming on for Longley. Perkins. Nice post up, taking advantage of Kukoc. 7 points for Perkins. The Bulls lead 61-56.
Phil Jackson feels that Kukoc has really improved with his low post defense. He thinks that can be a good matchup for Kukoc on to Sam Perkins down deep.
Jordan wants it against Hawkins and throws the air ball. Rodman not able to convert. Rodman felt he was fouled. Shrimp with a bad pass, and here's Pippen with the breakaway.
Careless turnover by Detlef Schrempf, the kind that just breaks your back. You need offense desperately. He's coming up casually with Pippen and Jordan right here. Inexcusable.
Bulls by 7. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the third. Chant of defense with the crowd. Shot clock at 4. Schrempf. Confirmed by Kemp. Shawn Kemp hammering it down.
Well, that's what talent will do for you. That was a terrible possession by Seattle. They should have been trying to post Perkins again as he just manhandled Kukoc inside, but bailed out tremendously by Shawn Kemp, playing well over the rim.
Pippen. And Kemp with the rebound. 5-point Chicago lead. Now Schrempf held by Pippen as they became entangled. Foul on Pippen. That's his third. Vincent Askew getting set to check back in as you get another look at Kemp.
And Marv, Jordan's just gone to the bench. This is where George Karl and the Sonics made their big push in game 1. Seattle has to take advantage right now. It's so difficult, though, because Chicago is an outstanding defensive team. It is so hard to get a good shot against their set defense. Then you got to make it after you even get one the first time.
Well, we saw in game 1, Phil Jackson taking Michael Jordan out with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, which is different than the regular season. Now taking him out with 4:20. I think Phil Jackson is sensing he's going to need Jordan down the stretch of this one.
So Steve Kerr has come on. It's Kerr with Hopper, Pippen, Rodman, and Kukoc. Shot clock at 5. Hopper posting. Did he get it off in time? Yes, he did.
Chicago runs players at Payton's advance the ball beautifully.
Foul on Kukoc. That is his first. Both teams are over the limit.
And it's so difficult as Tony Kukoc just cannot find anything tonight. Asked him before the game how he's feeling. He said he's great. That back, no longer a problem at all. But Seattle is a team, like most of the Western Conference teams, with Gary Payton, as they have one ball handling guard. The Eastern teams, like Orlando and Indiana, Chicago, they've got the bigger guards who both handle it, pass to the forwards a lot. You get the ball out of Payton's hands, Seattle's going to struggle.
Well, Seattle now within 1 with 3:40 to go in the third quarter. So 6 straight points by the Sonics to match that Chicago run. Kukoc hesitated, did not take the shot. He had it. Tony Kukoc now looking tentative. Pippen is fouled.
I don't think Phil Jackson will stay very long with Tony Kukoc if he's going to act that way at the offensive end. He's having his problems with Perkins on the inside, although Seattle's only done that a couple of times. But Tony Kukoc, who's a European Player of the Year, he's been around. He has to take that shot no matter what he's shooting from the field.
But man, it's tough for Tony because he comes in when Jordan's on the bench. And when he's not playing well, all the problems just get magnified. If he had some opportunities to play with Jordan a little more, maybe he could find his game.
And here is Randy Brown making his first appearance, coming on for Steve Kerr. Randy Brown, noted as a defensive specialist. His 5th year out of New Mexico State. Dennis Rodman has turned it around off the boards in this third quarter. He has 13 rebounds, 7 of the 13 in the third. Scottie Pippen. Rodman again.
What is Sean Kemp doing? Sean Kemp has got to spend 50% of his time thinking about boxing out Dennis Rodman. George Karl forced to call a timeout.
3 minutes, 3 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Bulls now lead by 4. Chicago lead.
Lamar Rodman has found his rebounding rhythm. In the first game and a half, he was jumping 3 times for every rebound he eventually got as Kukoc finds the range. In this third quarter, Dennis Rodman, 9 jumps for the ball, 8 successful rebound retrieves.
And Tony Kukoc had missed his first 4 shots, able to hit from downtown. Bulls with a 69-64 lead. Foul committed by Rodman. That is his third. Dennis Rodman, quiet first half. And in the third quarter, 8 points, 8 rebounds, 7 on the offensive board. So he has 9 offensive rebounds, the most offensive rebounds in an NBA Finals game. Elvin Hayes with 11. Washington at Seattle back in '79. The human eraser, Marvin Webster, along with Robert Reed, Moses Malone, the 10 apiece.
I know the eraser is always one of your favorites.
Absolutely. Bulls lead 69-65 as we come up on 2 minutes remaining in the third. Kukoc showing the 2 in a row from downtown.
Well, that's amazing. We had seen him just a few minutes ago. Didn't even want to look at the basket. Now he comes out of that timeout. I wonder what. Oh, steal.
And Scottie Pippen puts it down. So the Bulls in the midst of a surge. A couple of threes by Kukoc. And the steal leading to the pocket. Vincent Askew picking up that dribble a second time. Looked like a double dribble.
Randy Andy Brown making a solid contribution. Good swing passes, tough pressure defense. Seattle crumpling under the building pressure right now of Chicago.
Shot clock at 4. Perkins, air ball. Here comes Jordan. Leading Cooper. And George Carl wants a timeout. 20-second timeout called by the Sonics.
Tony Kukoc, so valuable in game 1, coming up large in that fourth quarter with three-pointers, with passes, with dunks, has now ignited the Chicago Bulls and this crowd with the deep three from the right corner.
And then Scottie Pippen on the defensive end. Just comes blindsides Vincent Askew, looks to the crowd, says, lift me higher. And then Jordan in transition. Sonics failing to get back. Chins on their chests. And this crowd exploding.
And here's pressure by the Bulls. 10-1 run, keyed by Kukoc, accounting for 8 of Chicago's last 10 points. And the Bulls with the biggest lead of the night. They're up by 11.
It was Kukoc's 2 threes in the fourth quarter. One of them he turned into a 4-point play that really broke the game open Wednesday night.
How about Dennis Rodman? 16 rebounds for the game. He's had 10 of the 16 here in the third. Shot clock down to 3. Payton. Now the Sonics being forced to take bad shots with the shot clock rolling down. Jordan putting the move on Shrimp and then gives it up. Open shot for Pippen. And Kukoc with the rebound. Pippen checking the clock.
This is a tough mismatch for Perkins. He can't pressure Scottie on the perimeter.
4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock, down to 10 seconds in the quarter. Jordan way off, and it's rescued by Askew and he threw it away. Miscommunication between Payton and Shrimp.
Seattle is totally rattled. All George Karl can do is try to build some confidence, try to keep some hope alive here as they've fallen behind by 11.
And a 20 taken by Chicago with 6 1/10 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Now it's changed to a full timeout. Bulls 76 and the Sonics 65.
Another superhero. The Bulls don't need him tonight. 11-point lead for Chicago. Just 6.1 seconds left in the third.
Leadership has been the difference as Chicago has blown this open here. Earlier, he was all over his teammates. Luke Longley, Ron Harper, all the guys for not coming through. But he's the first guy to go pat him on the back, the head. He's going to wipe the dye off his hands.
Yes. I think he got Dennis right at the Pearl Jam insignia. Curry, the 3, and a rimmed out. Last touch. Let's see the officials, Ed Rush and Hugh Hollins, in a discussion as to who knocked it out. Only 0.5 of a second remaining in this third quarter. It will be Chicago ball.
This is where you always have to keep your eye on Michael Jordan for that lob to the basket. 5/10 is enough to catch and finish.
Well, Michael drifted outside, and that's the end of the third quarter. A surge by the Bulls. Sparked by Tony Kukoc and Dennis Rodman. And the Bulls are up by 11. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local stations. You are watching the NBA.
for their team to get a body on Dennis Rodman and keep him off the glass is Vincent Askew. Even though he's maybe an inch or two shorter than Dennis Rodman, he's got the wide body, and he'll lay some wood on you. Sean Kemp just will not do it.
Crowd trying to get the Bulls revved up. A 7-0 run by the Sonics since that Chicago 13-point lead. Jordan. Michael Jordan able to penetrate. Brown looking for the steal. Bulls 82. Sonics 74. Here's Payton. Right back. Gary Payton cuts it to a 6-point Bulls lead.
Payton has been so much more effective in this series facing the basket from around the foul line area. When he tries to turn his back against these bigger players of Chicago, he gets in nothing but trouble.
Longley. Well, Tony Kukoc, who helped, well, Kukoc comes up hobbling. He helped turn things in game 1. And after a slow start here tonight, he has come on in the 4th quarter.
Marv, you are not going to have any chance of beating the Bulls unless you can dominate your defensive rebounding.
And it's Kukoc with the rebound, although he is still hurting. Very slow in making his way to the front court. See the Bulls in command off the boards. Jordan and Kemp able to keep it away from Longley.
But even that time, Luke Longley had inside position, just not able to get up high enough in the air.
Shrimp, yes, Detlef Shrimp. He has 13 points. The Bulls 84 and the Sonics 78. We have 5:15 remaining in the 4th.
All set up by Payton, getting to the hoop, creating, drawing the defense, and then hitting spot-up shooters who have to keep finishing. Detlef Shrimp, make a shot, please. Thank you.
Kukoc for 3. Jordan with the offensive rebound. Jordan stripped by Payton, but able to recapture and calls for time. Askew tried to knock it aside. Jordan very upset. He thought he was fouled. 22nd timeout taken by the Bulls.
George Karl was running up the sideline at the beginning of that possession for Chicago, exhorting his team that this is a big stop. They are within 6 points as Michael Jordan losing possession, but so quick with his hands and so strong to dig out that loose ball and get the timeout.
Matt, when that ball's on the floor underneath your basket as a defensive player, you've got to go to the floor to get this ball. Everybody's standing and bending over at the waist, except for Michael Jordan, the best player in the game, diving on his hands and knees to dig that ball out.
And he's in the face of the official, Jess Kersey, as he thought he took a hit. Tony Kukoc being tended to by the Bulls trainer Chip Schaefer. A moment ago, we saw Ron Harper head back to the locker room. We're told he is bothered by an upset stomach.
Tony Kukoc, not normally much of an offensive rebounder, but his left foot landing right on the foot of Sean Kemp and turning that ankle.
4:51 remaining in the 4th. Chicago in possession, and they lead by 6. So the Bulls staying with Randy Brown and Michael Jordan in the backcourt. Here's the lead broken up. That was intended for Jordan.
Good recovery by Hersey Hawkins, who I think has done a very solid defensive job on Michael Jordan tonight.
Bulls get it back, breaking up that pass. And Ron Harper is back on the Chicago bench. Rodman blocked. And a foul.
If Seattle could get the same kind of job on Dennis Rodman by Sean Kemp that they're getting by Hersey Hawkins on Michael Jordan, they'd have a lot better chance of winning this game.
Foul on Payton, and that is number 5. Here's another look.
A terrific look-away pass by Michael Jordan. He knew he had Rodman running the middle of the floor all the way. He did not want to fake out Dennis Rodman. He wanted to make sure he could see that pass coming.
Rodman had hit his first 2 at the line. Dennis, during the regular season, only 52% at the foul line. Now Brown sitting down, replaced by Harper. Bulls 85, Sonics 78. Chicago looking to go 2 up in this best of 7. The Sonics would love to go back to Seattle tied at 1 apiece. We come up on 4 minutes remaining in the 4th. Yes, and it counts. Sean Kemp will go to the line.
Sean Kemp had a notion all the way when he felt Luke Longley on his back. He just drifted out to the corner, wanted the ball, and wanted everybody to get out of his way because he knows he can take Luke Longley off the dribble.
Matt, this is the kind of play that Sean Kemp needs to make all the time. George Karl, ecstatic, realizes the isolation he's got, the mismatch Longley 20 feet from the hoop. Get to the basket, get by your man, and get in the air where there's no help defensively.
And you see Longley sitting down after picking up his 5th foul. It's only a 4-point Bulls lead. 4 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Jordan played by Hawkins. Jordan with the step and foul.
It is absolutely amazing. Michael Jordan just has such a feel at the offensive end where every other player is on the floor. He had that side clear. He saw the double team coming, but just so quick on the spin to elude that double team, get in the paint and draw contact.
Matt, remember at the beginning we were talking about anticipation on defense. The Sonics have to know that Michael Jordan's going to try to take over this game down the stretch. And when he makes that spin move, somebody for Seattle has to be there sooner. The same way Scottie Pippen is coming from that blind side when he's playing defense on the Sonics.
Well, we've seen all night long the Chicago Bulls taking advantage of really the over-aggressiveness of Seattle. We see it with their scrambling, double-teaming defense. It has opened up offensive rebounding opportunities for Dennis Rodman.
Michael Jordan, 6 of 11 at the line. And the Bulls now lead 87-81 with just under 4 minutes remaining in the 4th. Payton with the spin. And they swing it out. Here's Schwab. To the rebound. That left Schwab now 5 for 13. Timeout called by the Bulls to save that possession. 3:35 to go in the 4th quarter. We'll be right back.
We're embarrassed by the score in Game 1, and it shows here in Game 2. George Karl said this team would show up in Game 2, and they have. They trail by just 6.
Set an NBA Finals record for mentioning Elvin Hayes in a single telecast.
That was a terrific accomplishment for the Bullets on the home court of Seattle in the 7th game, where Dennis Johnson, one of the great playoff performers in history, went 0 for 14 on his home court in the deciding game. So sad that Dennis Johnson did not make the Hall of Fame this year.
But I would think an eventual entrance.
Absolutely, just has to be there.
One more mention of the Big E. Dennis Rodman is one offensive rebound away from equaling the all-time NBA Finals record, 11 offensive rebounds. Shot clock is down to 5. Kukoc for 3. Rebounded by Perkins, and Kemp with the recovery. It is a 6-point Chicago lead. 3:15 remaining in the 4th quarter. Critical possession for the Sonics. Shot clock is at 5. Payton for 3. Coming up short. And deflected out by George with 2 on the 24.
A discussion here as to whether Gary Payton's shot actually hit the rim, whether they should reset. Ed Rush says it did. A new 24.
Well, that shot looked awful leaving Gary Payton's hands. He just kind of short-armed it, as we hardly even say Gary Payton's name. He's been so quiet here in the 2nd half.
Perkins posting up on Kukoc. Fires it up. Rebounded by Kukoc. opportunities the last couple of possessions, but not able to convert. Bulls with a 6-point advantage. 2.5 to go. Perkins broke it up. That nearly rimmed in.
These Bulls are really good.
Well, much to discuss following tonight's game, and as we mentioned earlier, after our telecast here on NBC, you can tune to CNBC on your cable system for an NBA Finals post-game special. We'll all be on hand with interviews, discussions. Back come the Sonics. Gary Payton, Sean Kemp. We come up on 2 minutes to go in the fourth. Perkins stripped and deflected out by Pippen.
One of the problems over the years from Seattle, as they call a timeout right now, has been a lack of a go-to guy in the set offense down the stretch. They're struggling to find some offense right now.
2:08 remaining in the fourth.
Don't have go-to guys. They got a bunch out there. Payton, Kemp, Shrimp in certain situations. It's just they don't execute well in the half court. They have to run some high pick and roll.
Seattle has not scored in 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Shrimp. Hawkins for 3. And on the back tap, handled by Hopper. Lost it off his foot, but not been able to preserve.
Marv, Seattle's had golden opportunities. Shrimp had a beautiful, wide-open look. Hawkins' look was solid as could be. Payton's air ball was a good look. They just can't make any of them.
And now 3 of 14 from three-point range. Shot clock is down to 2. Down to 1. Hopper just didn't get it away. Bulls keep it alive, and Jordan draws the foul. Percy Hawkins called for his 4th, and Michael Jordan back to the line where he's 7 of 12.
And that look of frustration on the face of George Karl has been, he couldn't have asked for anything more, struggling all night, but time and time again, just hanging 6 behind and getting good scoring opportunities and can't get them. And the Bulls aren't doing anything at their end offensively.
But the offensive rebounding for Chicago. What is Perkins doing? What is Kemp doing? What is Shrimp doing? Chicago had 19 offensive rebounds in this game.
Bulls lead 88-81. Shrimp with the fake. Not able to hit on the running hook. Kemp is there. It will count, and the foul. Sean Kemp with 26 points. Foul committed by Tony Kukoc. And Kemp keeping the Sonics alive.
All set up by the penetration of Shrimp. A terrible shot, but at least he drew some looks defensively, and that enabled Kemp to slide along the baseline and find the opening. Another big statistical game for Sean Kemp, but just having an awful time at the other end defensively. Not even trying to get a body on Dennis Rodman, just trying to go get rebounds. But when you're playing Robin, you got a bucket.
3-point play again for Kemp. And the Bulls lead by 4. Steve Kerr back on the floor as we come up on a minute remaining in the fourth quarter. Bulls led by as many as 13. Sonics able to get back into it, and they've had, as we have been discussing, a number of opportunities. Here is Jordan, and he's fouled. Hit from behind by Shrimp.
And took exception to it as Shrimp taking a wild swing there. Got a piece of the ball, but no doubt got a piece of the head of Michael Jordan, and a quick reaction, and then Michael caught himself.
This is just a replay of game 1. Whoa. This is a, you put Detlef Shrimp, their worst defender, on Michael Jordan. He lights up, just goes right to the hoop. Detlef ushers him in to his right hand. Not a good foul by Detlef Shrimp.
The Bulls only 4 of 8 at the line in the fourth quarter.
Sean Kemp saying he liked the hard foul that Detlef Shrimp took. But you know how it happened again? It was another another double team coming. But actually, the Sonics are coming so hard with a double team that Michael is able to get around it. You can't come so hard where he's going to split it or go around it. You got to up him.
Bulls lead 90-84. And the Sonics call for time with 55 and 9/10 seconds to go in the fourth. We'll be back after these messages.
Chicago has been strong.
Seattle can look at that graphic and see improvement. Yeah, they doubled their performance from game one, but it's just not enough.
Gary Payton will throw in, looking for the room from Ron Harper. Harper got picked off by Kemp. And we get the whistle from Hugh Hollins and a foul against the Bulls. Both teams are over the limit, so all shooting fouls from here on in. Harper picked it up, which is the worst possible situation for the Bulls. It stops the clock, and it puts Schrempf on the line with an opportunity to bring the Sonics within 4.
And a situation arises now with John Sally and Dennis Rodman on the floor. A possible quick foul. Phil Jackson senses it and gets better free throw shooters, Kukoc and Kerr, ready to come in.
Schrempf is now 3 for 3 at the line. He's a 78% free throw shooter. Another off performance for Detlef Schrempf. 5 of 14 shooting.
Chicago is just so solid defensively. Even though they were scrambling and broken down there, Harper did a pretty decent job of forcing Schrempf into help to his offhand.
Now pressure by the Sonics. The Bulls have missed their last 6 shots. At one point they led by 13. They were up 80-67 with 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Down to 35 seconds, 10 on the shot clock. Bulls in no hurry here. 6 on the 24, and Kerr fires for 3. Rodman with the offensive rebound, and that ties an NBA Finals record. 11 on the offensive glass for Rodman, and that was a big one. Foul is called to stop the clock with 15 and 8/10 seconds remaining. Detlef Schrempf called for the personal.
But Seattle just let far too much time go off the clock. The second that Rodman got this rebound, which put him in the record book with Elvin Hayes, the Big E, the Hall of Famer. You got to go right and get that quick foul, get the clock stopped.
Well, did you see how quickly Dennis Rodman sprinted? He knew somebody was going to be chasing him. He got rid of that ball as quickly as possible.
Tony Kukoc making his first appearance at the line, and he's a 77% free throw shooter. Hits 1 of 2. Bulls lead 91-86, and the Sonics will use their final timeout with 15.8 remaining.
It's a 2-possession game right now, and obviously the 3-point shot comes into play.
Continues. That's disconcerting for George Karl.
Payton will throw in now from the near side of the court, looking for the quick 3. Schrempf back to Payton. Kemp, and he's hit out of reach. So again, the clock is stopped. 12 and 3/10 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Sonics, though, do not have any timeouts remaining.
And it didn't appear the Sonics looking for any 3-point shot there, getting it quickly to Kemp in the corner, and he knew what he was going to do as soon as he caught it, and that is drive to the basket.
Kemp, 11 of 14 at the line. Seattle now 22 of 28 at the free throw line. They've hit all 8 in the fourth quarter. Shawn Kemp with 28 points to lead Seattle.
Seattle have to make this free throw, get the quick steal or foul immediately.
3-point Chicago lead. Kukoc having trouble and has to use a timeout. Couldn't find anyone, avoiding the 5-second violation.
Well, David Wingate just locked up Michael Jordan and just literally held him and wouldn't let him come to the ball.
But how about running the baseline to get the ball in bounds?
That would help.
So the Bulls forced to take the timeout. Reminder, right after our telecast here on NBC, coming up on CNBC, on your cable system, an NBA Finals postgame special. Our entire...
This is a team that I don't think will really hit their stride till Game 3 Sunday night. They had that long layoff. Now they're back to playing every other day, which is NBA basketball.
Well, not bad if they haven't been able to hit their stride and they come out of here with 2 victories. 12 3/10 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Again, the pressure by the Sonics. This time Pippen will try to inbound. Jordan gets it back to Pippen. And Hawkins called for the foul. Down to 8 9/10 seconds. And Pippen to the line. He is 5 of 6 at the free throw line.
A lot of confidence that time shown by Scottie Pippen, just waiting and saying, come and foul me. If you keep that ball moving, Chicago can run the ball out because Seattle can't catch up to a moving ball.
There you see the problems that Scottie Pippen has had from the free throw line during the season and during the playoffs, but so far in this series, much better until there. Seattle out of timeout.
Scottie Pippen, though, has shot the ball well at the line in this final series, 13 of 16. So the situation, 8 9/10 seconds remaining, 3-point Chicago lead. As you mentioned, Matt, no timeouts for Seattle. So the Bulls get back to the Seattle front court as Pippen misses on both. Rodman able to get a jump ball out of it. However, it's only a 3-point game. That was almost an air ball by Scottie Pippen.
And Seattle failing to take care of its defensive backboard, giving up a rebound on the offensive end for an offensive rebound on a missed free throw. Inexcusable if you're trying to win.
Shows the great instincts of Dennis Rodman, able to get to the ball here.
Well, it was knocked loose and almost knocked to him, but how about him just not taking anything for granted?
Now the question on the lineup, Jordan trying to organize things. It's Perkins and Rodman. The Sonics with 6 9/10 seconds to go need a 3 to tie it if they can get possession. And toss. Oh, not a good toss, and apparently they're going to do it again and reset the clock. Yes.
And it looked like a foul could have been called there on Dennis Rodman as he hindered Sam Perkins from getting up in the air.
Just Kersey with the do-over. They reset to 6.9. And again, a whistle. And they'll re-jump. Hugh Holland says, do it again.
And that's the second time Dennis Rodman has fouled Sam Perkins.
Rodman is leaning in, and he's initiating the contact, but he's doing it with his left arm, his inside arm.
Well, let's see. Well, we need the hat trick. And it's controlled by Jordan. And now the foul with 3 7/10 seconds remaining. Oh, Payton and Jordan having some words, face to face. And Hopper guides Payton away. Now Sean Kemp calming Gary Payton down.
Well, Michael well aware of the repercussions if he gets into any kind of trash talking or taunting or a possible throwing of a fist or a slap. He walks away, and Kemp wisely gets Payton out of there.
It is Rodman going to the foul line. Dennis Rodman now 3 of 5 at the line.
This has not been pretty down the stretch.
Well, Pippen missed 2. Now Rodman missing. Only 3 7/10 seconds to go in the fourth. And Rodman is able to hit for a 4-point lead. Perkins fires it down for Shrimp. And that will do it. The Chicago Bulls Escape with the victory. The Bulls over the Sonics 92-88. So they protect the home court. They are up in this best of 7, 2 games to nothing with game 3.